Fireworks in the West London night air. Twickenham turning on the style and the show here. It is a very busy time in world sport. It takes something special to stand out. England against New Zealand certainly does that. Yokohama seems a lifetime ago, and the rarity of meetings between these two only adds to the sense of occasion, as does the fact that it is the first of this autumn series for England with the later kickoff. So they will come out to the flames and the floodlights and the noise of 80,000. Brodie Retallick and Owen Farrell, two Centurions to lead them out. Sam Whitelock will wait behind his second row partner, but these two men in the front earning their 100th cap this evening, but they will know it is certainly not about them. It's not about the ceremony or an exhibition or their personal moment, although they will have that now. It is about a great showdown between the black and whites in rugby. But Retallick and Farrell have their more than well-deserved applause. So it's been a while since these two met, and it is most eagerly awaited. David Flatman here, Topsy Ojo, looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a brilliant test match. A chance for New Zealand to finish their tour off on a high, and people talking about, you know, their fall from grace, how well they've bounced back and how good they're looking now, but also for England. A chance to really establish themselves, a chance for us to see where they're at. You know, they've spoken about this mini World Cup. They've had the group games, now we're into the knockout stages, and this is the first big test for them. Can't wait to get going.
Yeah, the crowd can't wait either. And in the two games so far at Twickenham, Argentina, that defeat and that big victory over Japan, the atmosphere has not been great at either of them. I think tonight is going to be a very, very different story, and we will get things going here, or rather continue things here, because the show has been impressive. We will have the anthems, and there is the little bit of white in the whiskers of Sam Whitelock, forming a record-breaking lock partnership with Brodie Retallick this evening. And there is the great man back after his red card against Japan, so missing a couple of games, but back for the big show. sound. Nice to see Jack Johnson there in front of Owen Farrell. Owen Farrell has done so much for his Joining Jack charity. Every time he scores, he interlocks his fingers. And that is for Jack, who has his moment on the pitch as well. And now we have this moment. I mean, those watching on probably enjoy the haka most when it's not passively received, when it's Willie Anderson for Ireland in '89 or Richard Cockerell brushing eyebrows with Norm Hewitt 25 years ago up at Old Trafford. So how will England meet the haka tonight at Twickenham? I know Cockerell has asked for the crowd to play their part, but they simply line up at the moment to face this great sight in rugby and in sport. Richard Cockerell got his wish. The haka meets the chariot at Twickenham. We're just about ready. Teams, though, let's take you through them again. Just a slight change of character in the pack for England. Up front is the same, but with Billy Vunipola back to number 8. Sam Simmons moves to that rare start in the flank. Itoje heads into his preferred second row. So not a giant pack in terms of height or line-out options, but certainly dynamic. In the backs, Jack Van Poortvliet keeps the scrum half jersey to once again link with Marcus Smith and the new Centurion Farrell. Outside them, Manu Tuolangi, like Farrell, at the heart of England's last 2 wins against the All Blacks. Jack Noel back on the wing after his late call-off before the Japan game. As for New Zealand, the big return, Brodie Retallick for his 100 and that record-breaking partnership with Whitelock. That means Scott Barrett shifts to blindside. This is a big back row. Corey Taylor gets the nod at hooker, but look out for the props. Ethan de Groot and Tyrell Lomax, they do make a difference. And in the back line, the other 2 Barretts also shuffle around. Bowden moves from 10 to 15 with the return of Richie Mo'unga at fly half. Geordie Barrett comes up from fullback to form the midfield partnership again with Rieko Ioane. And on the bench, both sides with a 5-3 split. Henry Slade continues to offer the playmaker options wherever he comes on for England. Scrum half TJ Perenara, so impressive in the last 20 against Scotland. Those are the lineups. We're just about ready to go here at Twickenham. So welcome back to Twickenham. Mathieu Reynal, a late replacement this week for the Australian Nick Berry. He is in charge. Around Europe, this autumn series has seen some wonderful encounters, and we hope for the same here on a still and clear late November evening. A perfect setting as England and New Zealand get ready to come together again. It's been away too long. But a game in store, and the noise grows to meet the whistle of Mathieu Reynal, which will sound. And Mo'unga, just a dainty little chip, which Itoje ran onto. And Vunipola, the first to carry. Back stretch the legs to give Van Poortvliet a little bit of cover. And slips it on to Aaron Smith, and then he asks his forwards to do a bit of Whitelock as the link. That's quite shirty defence up very, very quickly indeed, but too quickly. Straying offside penalty to the All Blacks.
We saw that a couple of times last week against Japan. England straying offside. They really want line speed. They want to cut down Mo'unga's time, cut down the opposition attack's options and space. But there's a balance. You don't want to get on the wrong side of the ref early. Equally, you want to show your coaches and you want to show each other that you're going to fly off that line into the opposition.
Well, territory gain, 28.1 metres with our precise, ultra-modern microchips in the rugby ball measurements. Richie Mo'unga with a decent kick to touch, and the first line out, well, works eventually. Papali'i now able to carry, unmistakable figure, huge figure for the All Blacks this autumn, and ground is made as Barrett took it on, and there is Savea now. So New Zealand making comfortable early ground, and Aaron Smith able to feed his captain Whitelock again. Real opportunity here as Rieko Ioane carries it in. Jordi Barrett this time. Oh, it's too comfortable for Barrett. Up to within 5 metres. Now Tyrell Lomax, the tight head. Both sides talking about making a quick start. Oh, the interception not quite there, and the ball is spilled though by Ioane. And England can breathe again. Caleb Clark watching this one all the way back. He's going to have to wheel around here and try and buy himself some free room. He can do that. Oh, and then the slip as Curry came in to make the tackle. So New Zealand attacking again, but suddenly from their own half, Ioane. And a spill again, and Billy Vunipola, grateful recipient. So England with a chance. Van Portfleet sees, well, thought he saw a bit of space, but that's all too comfortable for Jordi Barrett to claim with a mark.
It's not a good option from Jack Van Portfleet, really easily fielded in the hair and scare him in the chaos by New Zealand. That offload by Rieko Ioane, geez, that was loose, 20-25 out from his own line. Super loose. Defensively, England have got themselves up the right end of the field, but not a great start. The offside penalty, Scott Barrett, Jordi Barrett, Rieko Ioane making yards for fun in England's third. Needs tightening up.
Yeah, New Zealand would be disappointed with losing the ball so cheaply, but then have seen chinks and couple of loads of carries that make them think that they can get some ascendancy at the game line. Ioane looking very powerful. Just one loose pass that gave England that opportunity to intercept.
Well enough taken. Oh, interception. Dalton Papali'i unchallenged. And Papali'i, despite the efforts of Marcus Smith, gets there. Interception try. What a gift of a start. And this outstanding young flanker makes his mark at Twickenham.
Well, we said we were going to watch out for this New Zealand back three, and what a way to make an impact. Out of nowhere, really. It's over the 15, so he's allowed to come up, he's allowed to get off the line. So times it perfectly, intercepts the pass, and he has a stroll through to the post. What a start for New Zealand.
But as soon, Topsy, as soon as that England line-out drifts back over the 15-metre line, it's live. New Zealand can fly up. England must be aware of that. They must legislate for the fact that at least one of those New Zealand defenders, probably a back row, will fly up. They've got to keep their eyes open. And when you see him flying up with his, you can't miss him. It's the size of a terraced house with bleached blonde hair as the try is converted very easily. Someone's got to adapt. Someone's got to change the plan, but nicely taken by Papali'i.
Yeah, Jordi Barrett with a conversion. First try this year for Dalton Papali'i. Scored 5 last year, but in he goes, and he really has been, along with Hardy Savea, outstanding in the back row, and TJ Perinara and the rest celebrating on the flanks as he went in with that present. It really has stunned Twickenham again. Eddie Jones was stressing the quick start that needed to be made, although Scotland were 14-0 down after 10 minutes and came roaring back to take the lead at Murrayfield last week. As Cody Taylor preferred to Taukei'aho today at hooker. And Smith sends it high, and Stewart, well, he is the boss of the air and sets it back for England now. Van Portland, well, Oscar was a little knock on there. And Van Portfleet is saying he didn't touch it. It looks as if it came back, almost came back in from a foot, but we shall have another look.
No. Yeah, he doesn't touch that at all. There's a New Zealand boot trying to hook it back, but that is not a knock-on by Van Portfleet.
Actually, I thought at the time, although England secured that ball, it was good hustle at the breakdown, a good attempted counter-attack from New Zealand, because Tom Curry really had to take care of business and get him out the way. So just stuck a boot in. That's a mistake. It's just a mistake.
First scrum of the game, always worth watching. Solid from both sides there as Smith gets his backline moving again. Crossfield kick, Caleb Clark waiting, gathering, steps around, knows so well. Caleb Clark, one more man beaten, tries to slap aside another. Again, quick ground made, quick ball to play with as well as Richie Moonga is taken by Marcus Smith. Can't quite get him into touch, but then others alive. And nearly ball stolen by Tuolangi, but again, New Zealand looking really menacing in attack.
Just a bit too easy from New Zealand there. I mean, they got really good scrum set-piece ball, which is very nice, which gives the backs unbelievable platform to play on. And you could see from the initial setup, Caleb Clark is all the way on this left-hand touchline. So New Zealand have so many options to play with. He's got tons of space out there. It's a brilliant kick. And then it's incredibly difficult to actually defend because you're tracking across the pitch.
But then it's not a great decision for Mo'unga to go same way, because actually England had loaded up. They ended up with 2 attackers on 4 defenders. England had overfolded. They didn't need to be around there. That meant they were thin on the other side, just in terms of the mass. Not a great decision from New Zealand, having been on the front foot. They got away with it with the Tuolangi knock-on, but it started brilliantly for New Zealand. Find themselves again in a nice spot.
It was a rock-solid first scrum from the All Blacks, and here what a position they have. No real blindside at all. Now they have the penalty.
Hinging, elbow half, please.
Hinging is the instruction there from Mathieu Reynal.
They're always, when you look at these hinging ones, they're very often quite... You see how long Lomax is. I mean, he's so long. I'm absolutely not having that call.
No,
absolutely not having it. Tyrell Lomax is almost horizontal. He's almost lying down. He tips forward. Very little Ellis Genge can do about that. A mistake, I'm afraid.
That's pretty much what Genge said, just with a raise of an eyebrow there, that he wasn't agreeing with that as Retallick climbs to claim it for the All Blacks, and infield it comes as well. And the ball begins to really move and spin, others arriving as well to add their weight, and there might be another try here for the All Blacks. There is indeed, second try for New Zealand, and England in all sorts of trouble at Twickenham. And who comes up with the ball? It is the hookers for the All Blacks recently been scoring all the tries. Cody Taylor got a couple against Wales. Taukiaho has been scoring for fun, and Cody Taylor now gets in for the All Blacks second this evening.
I just worried about England's defence. If you look at Sinclair on the top there, I think he's alongside Billy Vunipola. They actually kind of steamed into the side of it. And it's almost like they were trying to spin it from right to left. Where they are now, you can see Sinclair and Billy Vunipola. Genge in the end. Genge was originally had his head in there. Sinclair and Vunipola are effectively on the outside, not helping. They're not in the right spot. They're trying to spin it round. New Zealand can just discard them and carry on.
Well, you know, a side's got an effective maul when their hookers are so effective in try scoring. Taukiaho is leading try scorer in a rugby championship.
Okay,
Cody Taylor, as mentioned, scored a couple in Cardiff. He scored one here. They checked the grounding. It was good, and it is an outstanding start for the All Blacks. So to Geordie Barrett, who's taking over the kicking duties today. So we mentioned that start that the All Blacks made last week at Murrayfield. It's almost identical. 10 minutes gone, 2 tries to the good.
Have a look at Sinclair, not offering anything there. Billy Vunipola, Sam Simmons, they're so easily discarded. It's like they wanted to spin it, but once they spun it, they kind of just got discarded and weren't offering any resistance. So a flawed defensive effort from England.
Test of character for the home side now as Retallick returning to the side. He's been receiver more than a couple of times already. This is where we find out a lot about a side in terms of the mentality. Caleb Clark again just puts his sizable back into Jack Noel there, but Noel is equal to him. Two very similar wingers really in terms of build, and into touch they go.
Yeah, well, Noel's just about got away with that one, but they'll be very wary. Both Barretts love that crossfield kick. We saw it a lot last weekend. We've seen it again already early in this game. If England give them space in that wide channel, they'll take it because it's the easy option. They can get the ball there nice and quick and exploit any space England leave out there.
Itoje with a rather stunned Twickenham. Marcus Smith now, as the backline gets a first real chance, and an ooh from the crowd as Tuolangi is claimed. So England just looking to string something together, clinging on to that ball for dear life. Marcus Smith a little step and then flings it out towards Johnny May. And Van Poortvliet gives it to Curry and gives it on to Ellis Genge. First trip to the All Blacks 22. Sinclair does a bit of battering as well. Oh, and Van Poortvliet nearly sneaking through. So in comes Simmons to play scrum half, looking to set it back. The ball just slows down for a moment. Hill with the carry, well met by Rieko Ioane. Still with England. The All Blacks defence strong enough at the moment. Curry dragging Whitelock with them. England getting closer. Luke Cowan-Dickey's in there now, still with England. 10 phases on through. Sinclair in support. Not making much ground. Have to have patience. Wide it goes now. Tuolangi tries to bounce off his man. Jordy Barrett just about did enough. Van Poortvliet comes in. Onto Sinclair again. Penalty advantage to England. All Blacks offside. So no points yet, but there is the penalty, and there is something for the Twickenham crowd to cheer.
England putting the phases together, some big carries. Sinclair, Simmons, Genge carrying hard. Johnny Hill wanted to carry hard, but he got battered by Rieko Ioane. Some good defence in New Zealand. Ultimately, they put themselves in this position. The cross kicks are a nice bit of variation, but if you're going to put one cross-field 20 yards from your own line, you better nail it. They didn't. They turned it over, and here they are, with Farrell choosing corner, not points.
I think you have to when you're 14-0 down. I mean, you could take 3 points, but it's very, very difficult to make that decision when you've seen 2 converted tries scored against you. Into the corner, to the general approval of Twickenham.
Well, that's it. When you're 14-0 down and you're at home, you think you need to strike back early, so you want to go aggressive, you want to make a point as well. Some really good direct carries there by England.
So Luke Cowan-Dickey goes to his man in Maro Itoje. Penalty to New Zealand. The crossing in the air.
In front. Number 8 in front of the ball carrier.
Just got to keep your eye on Billy Vunipola. You can see he's right in behind Maro Itoje. What that means is that it means the Kiwis can't get to the jumper. They're allowed to get to him. So Itoje's gone up, won the ball clean. That's all legal. Billy Vunipola is not allowed to get himself that far around.
Missed touch from the penalty, and so here is Freddie Stewart. Straight into the forwards. As Van Poortvliet snaps those arms and feeds Itoje. And there is good ground made, this time by England. Another penalty, though, to New Zealand. England going to ground.
It's Vunipola again. He's allowed to latch on with Itoje, but he's not allowed to flop to the ground with him, because again it means he's in the way, and New Zealand can't have a crack again, coincidentally, at Maro Itoje, this time the ball carrier. So that's 2 penalties in a row from Vunipola. He's not allowed to put himself between the ball carrier and the defender who wants to nick the ball off him. They've got to be given a fair shot.
Having another look at it, and again, the kind of passage of play, that penalty, the penalty before, that makes you weep as a coach, because the position England were in.
It's one you see time and time again, but that support player has to keep his feet as well. As soon as he goes off his feet, he denies the legal contest to the ball, so the crowd won't like it, but it's a correct decision.
Taylor to Scott Barrett this time, and look at the movement in this maul from the All Blacks. It's an explosive maul up to the outskirts of the 22. Trying to disrupt Aaron Smith, and again to the crossfield kick again. Caleb Clark is waiting. Is this one too strong? Tries to keep it in play, but to no avail. But you can see that tactic time and time again.
You know, it's preparation, that maul. I know it's 40 yards out, so England aren't too worried about it, but New Zealand have looked at the tapes. They've seen England are slow to join. in more defence. They haven't landed and set. They've landed and legged it, and they've made 5 or 10 metres, put England straight on the back foot. Really good prep. I just wonder if all these cross-field kick stops, it's not like they're unmarked. I wonder if they're trying to stretch out that England defence before going direct a bit later on in the game. They're trying to scare England into staying wide and leaving holes.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, we look at the last two and think perhaps fourth, that space wasn't as quite clear as the first one. But actually, if they get another opportunity, look at how they'll manipulate England's defence. They'll set up for the crossfield kick and then they'll look to attack somewhere else.
Pressure on this throw. Itoje takes it well. So the forwards trying to buy a little bit of ground before the clearing kick. Cowan-Dickie with it at the back, being told to use it. There's no scrum half there. Van Poortvliet was waiting further back.
Available. No, ball in.
So now Jack Van Poortvliet can just ease it out. Oh, and Ardie Savea asked, is it out? Referee said yes, and the ball was there. Savea and Whitelock, and now New Zealand out into the wide spaces. Talea has support, and Talea didn't find Rieko Ioane, goes himself. 3 metres though only from the line. Jordy Barrett picks and goes. England scramble that defence.
Neck roll by...
Calls of a possible neck roll coming in as well on the referee's mic. Brodie Retallick sets it now. New Zealand looking for a hat-trick. Corey Taylor nearly through. Now there must be space. Appearing out wide. Rieko Ioane, they're celebrating before he goes over. They have the try. This is devastating from the All Blacks. 3 tries. Just a little bit more than a quarter of an hour gone at Twickenham.
And it's a lesson in ruthlessness at the minute. Every time New Zealand get enraged, they seem to score. We're going to have a look at this ball out quickly. I mean, again, it's not past the back foot, but the key is if you ask the referee and he says yes, you can play it. Whether he's right or wrong will be up for debate. But after that, it's just about moving the ball quickly to the space, stretching England, getting them to run out of numbers.
Just hold on a moment, because as we watch Rieko Ioane going in, they're going to check.
On the rack, close to the touchline, please.
Yes, yeah, we'll line it up for you.
We heard it in live play, and it was a neck roll by Black, and so we'll see by whom. So checking on a neck roll. Matthew staring, hoping that it will appear soon on the big screen. So it's, is he talking about Rieko Ioane on Farrell?
So for me, Brian.
Yes, Matthew.
For what I see on the screen, the number 15 Black put his arm around the neck, is a clear neck roll. So I will disallow the try and come back to the initial infringement. Penalty kick for England, 5 meters from the England, right?
It's number 13 Black.
Okay.
Yes, not Beauden Barrett, but Rieko Ioane. So actually his own try is undone by his own hand or his own arm.
Yeah, but he has to keep the ball.
Yeah, we understand. He doesn't think it's out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so if you can be as loud as you can for us,
okay, that's
tell the ball's out, then he can react to it.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll do my best, Owen. And so there we are. It's just 2 tries for the All Blacks because of that neck roll by Rieko Ioane. How did you see that?
I mean, you can call that a let-off for England if you want, but Owen Farrell is at that breakdown. He's fighting. He's forcing Rieko Ioane into a position where he's uncomfortable, and ultimately he's forced a penalty offence, so it counts as good defence from England. I think it's the right call. He's got his arm round his neck. I mean, it will happen probably 10 or 15 times in this game that no one will spot. We're off.
We're off with Cowan-Dickie and Curry, a little 1-2 at the front. Jack Van Poortvliet, his captain, asking for clear instructions of when the ball might be out. From Mathieu Reynal.
Use it!
So England scrum half told to use it, and does. High, not too much distance on it. Talea takes that beautifully. And Smith gets his forwards going again. From De Groot, the loose head. And Whitelock. He above all was pained by the All Blacks' defeat against England in that World Cup semi-final. Brought to an end an extraordinary run of victories for Whitelock in the World Cup. Noel has to try and take this down for England, and it's bouncing around. Clark can't quite get on the loose ball, so Farrell is there.
Okay, back here.
But they're playing advantage, so all the way back they will come.
You. 9 in front of the kicker.
Tell you what, Jack Noel's got his work cut out, isn't he? Getting pumped with those crossfield kicks.
He does, but
in front of the kicker.
Also the England back three, because actually England switched. They put Freddie Stewart onto the box kick side and switched Van Portfleet because he was in the backfield, and New Zealand still went after him. So again, tactically, they're probably thinking, we're not going to kick to Stewart unless we have to. Let's find the other members of the back three and go and get some joy there.
Aaron Smith, the All Black scrum half, on his 114th cap, was in front of the kicker. Penalty to England, and back into the 22 they go, and they really need to get this Twickenham crowd involved.
That last England line-out was interesting, a little drill on the floor at the front. They've only got 2 primary jumpers in Hill and Natoji. You'd expect something more orthodox here, lower risk.
No. You stay in the middle, okay? Don't move. Stay like that.
Luke Cowan-Dickie then shuffles along a little bit. Cleanly taken down by Hill, a little loop around off the back, and opportunity for England to hit through Simmons, and then carriers up to within 7-8 metres. One more chance, Itoje getting closer still, and once more they come. Hill stretching, but the ball has gone forward. New Zealand have it. Missed opportunity. Quick hands with a counter now for the All Blacks. Retallick galloping forward. And the giant man sets it back now. Look, Cowan-Dickie just chopping his man around the knees.
Brian.
And that's confusion. Loose pass now. Tuolagi tries to kick it almost into the hands of Noel.
I like the idea. I like the idea. Unfortunately, he kicked it 15 times harder than he wanted to. Some really good build-up work from England, actually. Really quick off the deck. Vunipola. Itoje, really quick. Ultimately ball dislodged, and Johnny Hill's carry. That's loose. Moanga, really loose. You can see Manu just wanted to just pop it on the right to Noel.
Here's him up.
Have it. Walloped it instead.
I'll just caress this into the hands of my winger. Boom.
Less squats this week, I think.
That is how he plays chess, actually. Just boom, like that with my bishop. Things I never thought I'd say in rugby commentary. So, an interesting position this. The scrum so far doesn't seem to be too much cover given by either side. There's a big option on the blind side. They're lining up pretty much behind who's there, Noel and Smith and Farrell as well. Options.
Well, the wheel of the scrum will determine which way they go. When you've got 2 players sat right behind the scrum in Smith and Stewart, if they get a left-hand shoulder, imagine they'll swing left and try and create an overlap that way. Vice versa, if they get the right-hand side up, look to try and create an overlap with the numbers. Assuming it's not a scrum penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the hit. If you're stepping back, I will not free kick there. Okay? Just take the hit, please.
It's interesting. Tyrell Lomax is 6'4", De Groot's 6'3". You know, these are tall props, and you're talking about the length of the back as well, and actually physics sometimes dictates that it goes down, and it's...
Okay?
Yeah, but anyone can get a decent body position.
The gap if you want.
Carl Heyman, great All Black prop, 6'4", same height as Tyrell Lomax, and one of the greatest of all time. You couldn't break his shape. His shape was perfect. So, within reason, within certain boundaries, you wouldn't want someone 6'8", 6'9" in there necessarily, because their feet would get tangled up with the second row's feet, the flanker's feet. You should be able to achieve decent body position.
Rock solid scrum. England hoping for a little secondary shove there, but well, advantage, penalty coming, free attack here for England. Marcus Smith just delays that pass nicely to Stewart as Noel slips outside, but they'll come back for that penalty now.
Come back here, knee on the ground.
Couple of points soon, as it is Tyrell Lomax who is penalised with a knee on the ground. Comes a point where they really do need to get something on the board soon. And there we are, that's the decision.
It's tough to turn him down, especially when you're bang in front of the post. The penalty's on this side. Tyrell Lomax, the tight head. Genj in a lovely position there. Lomax is just, his knee hits the deck. Genj stays up. I mean, in fairness, Lomax comes back up, but the point is when you slip down like that, it changes the dynamic of the whole thing. So once he gets back up, he's actually slipped in, inside Genj's inside shoulder, so he can then work an angle and get dominance. You can't go to the ground in order to get underneath your guy and then take him out. It's not fair. You've got to stay up. It's the right call. Good scrummaging from Genj. Really, really good scrummaging from Genj.
Well, 14 kicks out of 14 in this autumn series. I think he's in 16 in a row at the moment, Farrell. First chance for England. So in Farrell, first three for England, 1,117 for his personal collection, which is sizable. It could have been 21-0 not that long ago. 14-3 doesn't sound great from England's point of view, but it's a whole lot better.
Absolutely. If you think about that swing, England were 5 metres away from thinking they're going to score. Next minute, they think they've conceded. So points on the board is good for all the hard work they've done so far.
Clark came in with a swing in the arm, trying to disrupt that ball in flight.
Use it.
Van Portford, huge boot, plenty of airtime. Noel tries to get it, comes back to Luke Cowan-Dickey. So a little bit of space out wide for Tuolangi. Johnny May tries to, well, now was that high from Talea? The crowd certainly thought so, and there is the penalty there from England. Talea, after that wonderful debut last week where he scored a couple of tries, just straying a little bit too high around the collar of Johnny May.
It's a high tackle, but I would have loved Manu to just put that through the hands instead of the missed pass.
Well, that's a sin-missing touch from the penalty. So a real opportunity now for the All Blacks to attack, and here is Caleb Clark sending forward, but Rico Ioane was in front. You could see he was in front of Caleb Clark as the kick came in.
Satin, you're in front of the kicker.
It was fairly clear and obvious.
You are 1 meter in front of the kicker.
Sorry, boys. Thank you.
So penalty to England. Let's get the thoughts of Dan Carter on what you've seen so far, Dan.
There's been a clear momentum shift back in England's favour in the last 5 minutes, which is exactly what they needed after a brilliant start by the All Blacks in that first 20.
On the line, Black.
Black on the Rico Ioane, I mean, he's such a wonderful player, Ioane. But he should have known he was in front of Caleb Clark.
You also normally get a 13 stop before you get penalised, but there we go.
England will take the decision of the referee and see if they can get something more from a visit. Well, a very brief visit as it was to a 22. Well, that's wonderful work by the All Blacks defence. Jack Van Portford, you can see just his signal to the assistant on this side.
Your feet closer, please. That will help me, okay? Not overextended.
It's a mystery. Something was being done to somebody's elbow, pulling down something.
It's like he's trying to land an aeroplane. Good defensive work from New Zealand. Eddie Jones won't love that. Coughing up possession in a spot like that.
It's the biggest headphone I've ever seen as well.
It's okay.
It's normal size, just not a very big guy.
Right, scrum time again. Yes, just as Dan was saying, pitch side, even though they've only taken 3 points, England, they've at least got a foothold in this game now.
Set.
Huge scrum from New Zealand, and they get the penalty. And as much as it brings you the penalty itself, it brings you that confidence. I think of Greg Feek, the scrum coach, and you know, the work he's done with this. They were so impressive in the Rugby Championship at the set piece, and they are again here.
Okay, no problem.
Lomax on this side. He likes to scrummage real long. Look how far back his legs are. But he keeps his traction this time. That's big. That's really, really big for New Zealand. I reckon they were one penalty away from having a bit of a problem with this guy, with Lomax having a bit of an issue with the ref, and then having to start thinking about maybe sort of changing a tighthead earlier than they otherwise might have done. But that was strong. That was long and strong. He got in a lovely position, edged it forward. They went through England. That's massive.
Taylor, great work by Whitelock. I thought to get that ball, but it had gone. I mean, it wasn't squint to his own side, but squint to squint.
And that's how you undo the good work at set piece.
The last one. Collectively, and then you step outside.
Ellis Genge is just asking for a gap. As soon as that went not straight and the whistle went,
Time off.
you had Kyle Sinclair putting his fingers together shouting scrum. He wanted scrum straight away. They want another crack at them.
Worrying for Maro Itoje. You wouldn't expect cramp at this stage, I think, so I think it's nothing more serious. But Itoje receiving the treatment just now. No, that's not cramp.
He has the joy of going straight into a scrum after what hopefully we see him back on his feet and he's able to carry on. You can see the front row, there's an interesting conversation going on around how they deal with the scrum, because, you know, England's scrum hasn't had a problem, but tonight they're being given something different to think about.
England, okay.
So I don't know, what solutions do you think they may come up with, because New Zealand's problems are big, they're also tall, so it's a different problem to solve.
I think you stay cool, you talk about it, you make a couple of little technical changes which might or might not be possible once you're in there taking the heat. And when that ball comes in and when you come together and the ref tells you to set, you give every single thing you can possibly give.
Not too big gap, because after you're leaning.
It ain't too technical.
Okay.
Just a reminder, we've lost the score in the time at the moment. It's 14-3 to New Zealand, just over half an hour gone. As the steam rises off the packs.
Bind. Set. No.
So you can hear
So guys,
on the ref mic.
The gap is too big, okay? Then you don't control the weight, you lean on him, and your foot closer, please.
The life of the referee. Before this scrum, Ellis Genge said, sir, we need a gap, we need more of a gap. They're basically fully engaged by the time you're saying set, is what he's saying. They're crowding our space. They have a slightly bigger gap. New Zealand engaged pretty hard, and the referee says, well, you wanted a gap, you got one, but you're folding when they hit you and make it look like an early shove from New Zealand. England are saying it is an early shove from New Zealand. So the ref says, I'm going to close the gap back up. So the England front row are going to have to get their feet back a little bit further, a little bit sooner before they engage. So even though it's a small gap, it makes a massive difference.
Bind. Set.
New England just starting to go backwards there before Billy Vunipola picked up. Van Poortvliet under pressure again from Surveyor, but gets that ball away. And Itoje keeping a keen eye on him as well after that treatment he was receiving. Sets it back. Well, look at the ferocious work by Papali'i and company. So New Zealand 14-3 to the good here at Twickenham. It's about 32 minutes gone as crossfield kick from Bowden Barrett. A good work by Rieko Ioane. And Talea takes that pass. Oh, wonderful by the winger to find Smith, and then the support comes in. Rieko Ioane tried to hold on to it. The ball went loose. Now Van Poortvliet. Knock-on advantage to England. Hill with the carry.
Stop. Good contest. Come back here.
Love a crossfield kick.
Knock on.
Every single time they go into it. They make sure that they have a player sat on that touchline every single time. Again, it's not completely on, but the fact that Johnny May can't get there on the ball means that Ioane can take it, and once they keep the ball alive, it becomes a very dangerous scenario for England.
Time off.
I'll tell you now, Rieko Ioane had no idea that crossfield kick was coming. Got himself in position. They, as you say, Tops, they like to keep a man wide on either side as an option. But after that, it was just off the cuff. It was instinct. It was almost wonderful.
Well, started in the wing in his career, Ioane, and now firmly in the midfield. No longer with Davy Havili, who's on the bench today, but seems to be becoming an established partnership with that man Jordi Barrett. Options. Spoiled for choice in New Zealand. Actually, Talea wasn't in the original squad either. I mean, Will Jordan's got an ear problem. And Leicester fine guy Nuku, he had to return home for personal reasons. So there are any number of players that can play in the back three or indeed the back line for the All Blacks.
And if Rieko Ioane had to slot in on the wing, he'd probably be all right. He'd probably be okay.
So reminder, 14-3, New Zealand in front with just over 6 minutes remaining in this first half. Poor old Mathieu Reynal. He was supposed to be doing Romania against Samoa today.
Okay, and you don't push him. Okay.
I think it was actually supposed to be his only game of the autumn, Romania against Samoa in Bucharest, but he stepped in for Jaco Piper, Ireland-Fiji last week, and then, as mentioned, a fairly late replacement for Nick Berry this week. And studying scrums.
Crutch! Bind! Set!
Solid from England. So too from the All Blacks. Told to use it, so in goes Van Portfleet, Johnny May. Straight into Aaron Smith. 14-3, the All Blacks in front. And the penalty goes to New Zealand.
Say the colour first. Wait. Winger offside.
Offside on the wing.
It was a strange decision to go to the left anyway. I think England have so much space on this right-hand side, and you almost go from a slow set-piece scrum into a slow ruck ball as well, where they had a chance to really put New Zealand, at least territorially, under some pressure.
But instead, Richie Mo'unga pops it into touch and back into the England 22.
Ball is still in the scrum. Yeah. Okay, no, that's fine, perfect. I saw it first for the scrum. Gap.
So we're into the final 5 minutes in this first half, and New Zealand, I thought they had their third try some time ago now. They'll go chasing for it again. Free kick though to England. Cody Taylor was trying to get the instructions, trying to hear the instructions. It's fairly quiet around Twickenham at the moment. Not sure what the communication breakdown was due to. But England will be very, very grateful of that. Just a free kick though, so the All Blacks will have the line out.
So unnecessary, isn't it? Great news for England.
Squints this time from New Zealand.
Scrum or line out.
Again, a rueful smile from Cody Taylor.
Interestingly, England go for the line out instead of the scrum.
Yeah, well, we were talking before the match about a perceived weakness in the England setup, because they don't have huge men in there today. But they're quite confident in their line-out.
You'd imagine this because they prefer to play off line-out. It's better ball, it's a bit cleaner, perhaps, don't know. Sam Simmons is outside Marcus Smith.
Itoje takes it down, and there is Sam Simmons. Cody Taylor hanging on to his ankles. Van Portfleet, kick charge down. Which way does it bounce? Johnny May gives a scrum half the spooks that. Itoje tries to go straight through the middle. 3 minutes to go in this first half. Penalty again to New Zealand.
The box kick drill so slow from 100 yards away up here. You thought that's always getting charged down if anyone's on their metal. The quick pick and go from Itoje, second time he's done that in this game. It's really, really effective, except when it leaves all your mates behind, because they don't know it's coming. So you feel you've got to buy half a second with that commando role. You're not allowed to do that. Easy spot for the ref. Slow drill from Van Poortvliet.
Still just 21, Jack Van Poortvliet. Only his third test start.
Numbers.
And this really is the sternest of tests. 14-3, the All Blacks in front with just a couple of minutes remaining in the first half of Twickenham. Taylor to Retallick this time. You know, the hooker has it at the back as the maul gets moving.
Done.
Cody Taylor skirting round the referee and then taken down by Curry. So in goes Smith again. And Ethan de Groot, the loose head. All sorts of commands coming into the referee as Papali'i moves it on. And Talea, he's got plenty of power on the wing. Mark Talea. Again, quick hands, getting the All Blacks going again. A little bit of patting ball, and it's Luke Cowan-Dickie again comes in with that shot tackle. A lovely step from Richie Mo'unga. Look at the ground he's made, still able to offload to Savea. And Luke Cowan-Dickie again hanging on as the All Blacks threaten one more time. Barrett with his brother supporting him. Brodie Retallick, huge and hunched figure, moves forward. It's all very quiet around Twickenham. Dalton Papali'i, scorer of the first All Blacks try. Moving into the final minute in this first half. The All Blacks looking for their third try.
Yeah, I see it.
Putting together the phases once more. Just a pause for thought from Smith. Then down the blind side, firing Retallick and Talea. Winger sets it back and Smith gives it on to his captain, Whitelock. Looked as if Genge coming in with her arms involved there as Barrett, Scott Barrett, does a bit of carrying. And again, well up past a dozen phases and up to within 7 metres. And look at the ground made again. Can they get that ball back though? Still there for the All Blacks. Smith, just before half-time, looking for the score before the break. De Groot sets it back one more time. Rieko Ioane can't quite get free, wriggling away to escape Noel, and then the ball is spilled by Jordie Barrett. Into touch it goes as the clock hits 40 minutes, but
one white offside.
Coming back, that's a long, long advantage. Offside, England. Penalty to the All Blacks.
Offside.
And it was Ellis Genge who was offside.
I think there was the offside. There was also a potentially no-arms tackle as well.
Sorry.
All the while, Owen Farrell was clutching his ankle from a breakdown before, so...
Time off.
England will be happy at the minute that they've got away with not conceding, but they're under all sorts of pressure at the minute.
Oh, I saw the wince there from Farrell, a little shake of the head.
He was slow to get up probably about 5-6 phases ago, hobbled himself back into the line. Was almost expecting New Zealand to see it and really attack at him, but he didn't look comfortable.
No.
Are you okay, Owen?
Took a couple of carries in there from New Zealand, proper gritty stuff. Mo'unga, I thought, was brilliant through the middle. Doesn't mind a bit of contact. He's not a big bloke. Jeepers, he's strong. Does really well to get through here. If you just watch keep your eye on his right arm, the ball carrier arm, he gets caught by Simmons. He rips his right arm down. Look, he rips it down to get that ball away. Massive upper body strength for a fly half.
Well, this was the offside as well as Genge.
One white offside on the rack.
Came in, and there you see the arm was out from Mathieu Reynal at that point. And then there was this, which I thought it wasn't involving much of an arm. That's... Oof.
Yeah.
Head going in.
Take the three.
Okay.
Take the three, says Sam Whitelock, just before the break. So, clock's been missing in this first half, but 40 minutes is up. Eddie Jones is heading down to the changing rooms with much to say, I'm sure. As this has been a difficult first half for England.
I think Dan Carter, very unsurprisingly indeed, was right. There was a real momentum shift in that second quarter. England got themselves back on the front foot quite a lot, just kept coughing up the ball, couldn't deliver. New Zealand haven't been brilliant the last 5 or 10 minutes. They've coughed the ball up a couple of times themselves at set piece. But geez, in that first quarter when they had opportunities, they took them.
And they're prepared to take the 3 points here. Jordie Barrett. through she goes, and New Zealand back to a 14-point lead. A couple of tries in this first half. They really were racing out there, the All Blacks, and it was looking pretty grim for England. England coming back with that one penalty, but Dalton Papali'i, Cody Taylor with the tries, and New Zealand 17-3 up at the break. Join us again in a few moments. It's going to have to be a second half of some resolve and no little skill from England. Certainly better than they showed in the first half, as Owen Farrell gets us going again, and Retallick once more just lifted up by Lomax to claim that one. And Cody Taylor, scorer of the All Blacks' second try in the first half, takes it in, but penalty to England, holding on. So this could be the platform for a much brighter start to the second half.
Good early work from England. Super competitive at the breakdown. Luke Cowan-Dickie really sharp in there. Really strong.
A very brief discussion between Farrell and Smith about the decision, because it is going to be a shot at goal from Marcus Smith in this one. Now Farrell still limping a little bit after the treatment he was receiving, so despite being on 15 from 15 in this autumn series, not up to kicking duties, which would be a little bit of a concern about the rest of his play.
I imagine they'll be keeping a close eye on him. Neither Henry Slade or Guy Porter will be making sure they're ready to go.
I mentioned it was a quick decision. I mean, it was fairly straightforward. You have to take the 3 points to start the second half if you're in England's position. 17-3 down at the moment. So it is good start to the second 40 minutes for the home side, and England back within 11 points. Once the scoreboard changes, change for me. No, it's not going to. So we're keeping a keen eye on Owen Farrell after his ankle knock. But Marcus Smith with the 3 points, and 17-6 the difference again. We're just having a bit of a struggle with the clock at the moment and the score. Van Poortvliet, again, he has to steady himself after a rocky first half. Well-placed kick, and it comes back the way of England. And that's going to be a penalty. This time Arnie Sevilla gets it wrong.
Good kick by Jack Van Poortvliet. Really good hang time. Gave Jack Noel every chance to get up there and make a nuisance of themselves. Real positive start by England, winning the penalties already. Just allowing them to work their way up the pitch. Really positive stuff.
It was a good kick from Jack Van Poortvliet. In a box kick like that, you want to be able to compete. It's good sharp work at the base, more than anything, and not because for any other reason than a human reason. I'm quite pleased, Topsy, to see Van Poortvliet still on the field. He didn't have a brilliant first half, it wasn't all bad, but he's got to learn, get him back out there, don't let him learn out there, let him recover. Good start to the second half from him.
Luke Cowan-Dickie, and Hill had to work very hard there to get that one back the way of Marcus Smith. And Simmons now, is he taken a bit high there? Not seen by the referee, this one, as Sinclair and then Genge do their bullocking bit. And Smith just delays it nicely enough to Tuilagi. Tuilagi going himself. Oh, he had support on his shoulder, up to within a metre or so of the line. England coming roaring out at the start of the second half, and Sinclair goes in hard. Boos from the crowd, urging England on. Advantage to England. We get Simmons ready to take this one. No, Vunipola carries. Set back now for Van Poortvliet. Slows down a little bit. Out wide. England with the opportunity again as May comes in off his left wing looking for that ball and wrestling with Smith. Still England's advantage. Back they come now for that penalty. And just for a moment as Tuilagi went through, you thought that England were going to have their first try. Genge looking to take this one quickly. So it is Genge who sets off. Hill and Itoje on his shoulder. Straight into it again. Statement of intent from England. New Zealand's defence, one of the best in the business, but over the line, is it a try? Not quite for Itoje. So close. The ball's still there. And again, New Zealand set their defence. Sprinters in the blocks on the line. Vunipola with a pick-up and drive. He doesn't quite get there. Tuilagi coming in looking for that ball as well, adding his weight. Still, they can't quite get there, trying to burrow their way into the try line. This time, no. Black shirts arriving and firing underneath to stop the attack. Going through the phases, one after the other, the forwards. Penalty to the All Blacks. And the sound of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot dies around the stands at Twickenham. What a chance gone for England.
It's discipline.
No, I'm sure he's sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's concentration from England. This is the break. Smith just has Tuilagi on his left shoulder. Beautiful break. That's a difficult pass to give. You can leave that on the inside for Freddie Stewart, but geez, that's difficult. Maro Itoje super quick off the ground again with that pick and go, but if you watch here, Tuilagi takes it in. Itoje straight on top of him. Billy Vunipola got penalised for that in the first half. You can't just flop on top of the man you're driving in. It was a rule that was brought about for a few reasons, one of which to make it less impossible, more possible to compete on the deck. If someone flops on top like that, you can't compete for the ball.
So from the kick to touch and from the line out, New Zealand breathing more easily again. It was Retallick taking it down. Look at Taylor holding at the back, and look at this, Whitelock and Retallick. And Taylor at the back, Scott Barrett in there as well. Those are the three big men in front of Taylor, and all the ground they made, and advantage to the All Blacks. That is brutal from New Zealand.
Take them up, please.
They're racing forward. And suddenly, again, Twickenham falls silent. They'll come back now for that advantage.
Okay. Back here.
But wow.
No advantage, side and through wide.
And Kari and Mounga. Marcus Smith coming in as well, boldly. That passage of play, Topsy, was astonishing from the All Blacks. From the initial penalty given away by England, but thereafter that was a masterclass in getting yourself back into the opponent's half.
Well, in the second half, their masters are taking momentum away from you, really putting the foot down and going through the gears, and they take advantage of your errors as well. The disappointing thing for England, as well as the going off their feet, was that balance between we've got New Zealand's defence very narrow, and now we can go wide, but England have the ball back.
Well, a mistake by Richie Mounga. Overconfidence, trying to eat up a huge amount of the line. Talea's pass to Bowden Barrett is a little bit hearty, and the fullback had to reach for that one. It's all a little bit messy. Itoje hurls himself upon it. Penalty now to England. Dalton, Papali'i disagreeing, still disagreeing.
Arriving play on the tackle.
Furrowing that brow to no avail.
7 in the 10.
Well, for all they do well, poor kick from Moanga. We can't really criticise too aggressively because we like it when kickers absolutely go for it, absolutely try and pin it in the corner. A really poor pass from Talea. Not a great kick from Barrett, so actually poor drills from New Zealand.
My point was just going to say that England had an opportunity, a phase before that penalty, to go wide, to get all their backs together and to really strike. New Zealand only had 3 defenders in those wide channels, and that's the difference at the minute. When New Zealand have opportunities to score, invariably they have, especially those early ones. England have had chances, they've just not taken them.
8 minutes gone in the second half, and there is the difference, 11 points.
9. All good.
It has been said many times before, but next score.
Okay, we come, guys,
very,
we
very
come straightly, please. Straightly
That's why that attack, that concerted period of pressure from England, how desperate they were to find something there, because then they would have been right back in this. But another opportunity just outside the All Blacks 22. Nicely set back for Van Poortvliet, and Farrell seems to be moving okay, clearing out there. Farrell with the pressure coming in from the All Blacks defence. Tuilagi trying to create something, but into an equally big figure in Jordi Barrett. Sinclair into Scott Barrett and Ardie Savea. Smith. And that flat pass to Simmons, who's stripped to the ball, and Retallick gives it to Smith and on to Richie Mo'unga now under pressure. And De Groot is still playing that knock-on advantage for New Zealand. So crossfield kick again, and it looked a little bit there as if Caleb Clark might have been in front of the ball, but Savea now, Rieko Ioane rather, Rieko Ioane, can anybody get to him? Ioane does have his try now, third try for the All Blacks. Oh, he is devastated. We talked about him starting his career as a winger and how many tries he scored. Lurking on the wing there, the centre, and with all the speed to finish it. Once again, the crossfield kick. I do wonder if they will have a look at where he was when that kick went in.
It's a brilliant tackle in midfield from Geordie Barrett, actually. It was a really good shot because the line and the pass from Smith to Simmons was really good. But on the turnover, it's a brilliant recognition of space if he's onside. If it's a try, it's simple, it's stunning.
It's clearly been thought of well ahead of this game. The amount of times it's happened, Caleb Clark waiting. So Rieko Ioane taking the ball, but Caleb Clark was he possibly in front. They're just checking.
Okay.
So Brian McNeice is just checking the grounding, the TMO.
Wait. Hang on, please. All good?
It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Deceptive. And beautifully judged and executed.
But the key thing was, from the minute the ball was turned over, he was out there. He went straight out there, and he was calling it for about 3 phases, saying, I'm in space. So it was always loaded. It was just a question of could they execute it, and then the switch pass to Ioane is brilliant. Incredible score.
34th try for the All Blacks for Rieko Ioane and Geordie Barrett again. Ooh, that try deserved better. Anyway, 5-point try from Rieko Ioane, New Zealand out to 22.
The call comes. Barrett is told the space is there. It's screamed into him. The kick's on. Caleb Clark's in loads of space. As soon as Caleb Clark, it's clear that Clark's going to take that ball. Rieko Ioane's talking to him. Left shoulder, I'm in. And it gone. It's so simple. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. There ain't many teams that score tries like that.
And again, the momentum shifts in rugby in England. With that long period battering away in the All Blacks line, but not taking the points.
Use it, Black, please.
And suddenly 16 points the difference.
I got 10.
So Aaron Smith turns 34 on Monday, but still at the top of his game. Stewart is imperious in the air. Powerful figure at fullback coming onto the ball. But England needs something very badly indeed here now. As Whitelock a little bit high on Simmons.
Stepping back. Black stepping back.
Says the assistant as Smith takes it in, and then Pola. And De Groot trying to strip his man of the ball in the challenge. His foul just delays it to Luke Cowan-Dickie. Now the white shirts arriving, but it's good All Blacks defence again, and the knock-on gives New Zealand the scrum, and the applause from Brodie Retallick.
That's fine. Thank you, Owen.
New Zealand's work in and around the breakdown has been exceptional so far. Their timing to kind of get off and really get out of Van Portley. Again, they've done their homework, so the timing, as soon as he's picked the ball up,
time off.
They're getting off really quickly.
It's that wind-up. You talk about small margins at the international level.
Yeah,
they're catching Van Portley. They're making him look ponderous. He's not ponderous, but they're making him look ponderous, and he's off now. Ben Youngs is on.
He's not to ask me to check.
I'm not asking you to check.
But we check everything.
It's hard as we watch the replay
We check
again.
that's fine. No problem.
As Jack Van Portley goes off. Now that has been a hard day of lessons for him, and again you hope that he'll be better for it. That's not going to be any consolation at all. When you look at someone like Retallick coming through there, his 100th cap, with all that rugby knowledge, Tuolangi going off as well, and Van Portley at the start of his career. And so Ben Young's coming on now.
Brian, anything special?
And Slade is on for Tuolangi in midfield.
7 wide, okay.
And Ben Young stretches out his cap number as well. It's number 120 now for Ben Youngs. And Slade coming back into things, who's left out of things this year and then has come back into the squad, and I think he's such an important figure because of what he brings in the back line.
Yep, Eddie Jones certainly rates him. He's picked him an awful lot of times. His 51st cap, Henry Slade today. That will bring a different dynamic. It will give, potentially, the idea for England will be that it will give New Zealand a bit more to think about than outright power. NEWZEALAND, he can cut a line, he can come off the shoulder. We saw him do that with Marcus Smith right at the beginning of this second half. But ultimately, he is a power player. New Zealand have dealt with that pretty well. Eddie Jones is thinking, let's give him something different to look at.
Let's go, Sings. Let's go, Let's go.
Aaron Smith just making sure that all in the back line. Jordy Barrett passes on the instruction. Making sure that everybody knows the call here. It looked for a moment as if he'd awarded a free kick to England there, but it was just a stand up.
Yeah, but don't take a too big gap. Close the gap a little bit.
New Zealand so far have been ruthless in their final international before hibernation or a summer off. And this so far is a big statement going forward as well.
Just having a look at the New Zealand backs, of course, we'll deal with the scrum first, but some interesting conversations about potentially attacking England's left-hand side. Only 3 defenders and a lot of space in that 15-metre channel.
Wow.
Reset. Reset.
Walking
Reset
around
again.
there.
That's exactly
Yeah, you
what
just
I
heard
told
someone
you.
with an English accent
Guys,
shout walking around.
I will not reward the team if it's balanced.
I must say, I agree
and swinging
entirely.
around a little bit for final
Keep your
momentum. So you stay straight, okay?
I'll try not to talk over the referee, not always easy.
Keep your bind too, okay?
I felt there's quite a lot of pressure going on there. You watch Tyrell Lomax, the black number 3, just pulls it around. Tries to go inside and straight through. Call it cutting the throat, cutting the hooker's throat. So he tries to go inside Gens, pull it inside, and then go straight across underneath the chin of Cowan-Dickie. I mean, penalty England that. I'm refereeing, but I'm not.
I would quite like to see that though.
I would, then my lungs wouldn't. I would, I'd vote for that as well. As long as I could have an asthma inhaler with me at all times, I think it'd be fine.
And a segue, perhaps.
Segue, yeah.
Set!
Squeeze! Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Ben Young's asking Mathieu Reynal to get out the way. Smith gives it to Moonga. Now he's got Ioane just outside him, and that's good ground made by the fly half.
Yeah, all back on side.
Savea with Retallick and Whitelock adding a bit of ballast. Smith just flung it back between his legs, straight into the nether regions of Mathieu Reynal. So the All Blacks will get the scrum.
It's a shame from England in a way, isn't it, Tops there, because actually, because it hits the ref, it's given to New Zealand because they were in possession, but really good hustle from Curry at the breakdown.
Yeah, really good decision.
Front row,
Again,
please.
got his timing straight in with the foot. He's allowed to do that, and yeah, that ball could go anywhere, and then New Zealand are all under all sorts of pressure.
No, that's fine.
Right now, doing them a favour there.
And as we watch that replay, the front row is being changed for England in its entirety. So off go Sinclair and Genge and Luke Cowan-Dickie, and on Vunipola, Mako Vunipola, Will Stewart and Jamie George and hooker. And Will Stewart. And different personnel. Let's see how this one goes.
Bind. Set.
Use it, says Mathieu Reynal. Savea moves it to Smith and then Moonga. Little switch down the large blind side.
Away, White!
Freddie Stewart will chase down his own kick here. Peering in on Bowden Barrett, it just steps easily away from him. Richie Moonga now acceleration, gives it back to Rieko Ioane.
Off feet now.
Ball still there for Aaron Smith, and De Groot is the link, rather Loose pass between Barrett's it went, and here is Jordi Barrett floating it out to Talea. And Talea has options in field. And he's a powerful presence in the wing. Whitelock decides to switch it through Moonga to Beauden Barrett and Scott Barrett. Penalty this time to England.
Straight off feet, same as them. For black.
Well, that's a battle England are going to need to start winning, because they're not winning collisions at the minute. New Zealand getting a lot of good go-forward ball. So the one area they can look to target is the breakdown. Wait for that one isolated carrier, make a good decision, play on the ball and try and arrest some of this momentum at the minute.
Again, decision fairly quickly taken. Into touch it goes from Marcus Smith and just into the 22.
2 black and 3
Looked a bit thin out there in attack, didn't they? That's running into lots of white jerseys. It's good hustle from Johnny Hill. Of course, he can jackal underneath over the top. His arms are about 8 feet long, so it's handy in that instance.
So 2 changes in the front row for the All Blacks. Nepo Lalala is on at tight head for Tyrell Lomax, and Samasoni Taukei'aho is on for Ethan.
2 is
on for Corey Taylor. These 2 hookers have been slugging it out for the number 2 jersey. But Taukei'aho is such a dynamic hooker coming on.
Ball in hand, he is a handful.
But England's chance here as Itoje takes it down at the line out, and there is Simmons trying to bounce off one man. Jack Noel comes in to do some clearing out. The chance again through the middle through Billy Vunipola. Ben Youngs moves it out now. Farrell. Little crash from Henry Slade. Manages to hang on to it and set it back well. England getting closer again. Curry this time. Have to take their chances. No, one more time. It's a penalty in defence from New Zealand. They keep on battering away England at the All Blacks defence, but every time it's equal to it.
Leaves the ball.
Decent play from England. Really good service from Ben Youngs. Nice line-out drill. Sam Simmons, I think, has played well. That's good footwork to dominate the contact through Papali'i. That pass was fantastic, I thought, off the wrist from Ben Youngs to Vunipola. Made a real difference. But what can you do about Ardie Savea sometimes? Just what can you do?
We've not actually mentioned him that much, but as good players do, they come up with the big moments when it matters.
I'd say another man in there, Retallick, has been outstanding today in his return, just straight back in and doing what he has done 99 times before this game for the All Blacks. So Samasoni Taukei'aho again steering things at the back of this maul. Again, the maul has made so much ground throughout this game for the All Blacks. Jordi Barrett, his first receiver this time. And Stewart flings that almost over the head of Johnny May. Now can Johnny May show his pace out into the open? Johnny May now trying to get away. Great covering tackle by his opposite number, Caleb Clark. And the All Blacks get the penalty again. There are just glimpses of attack from England, and they're so quickly snuffed out.
I mean, it's a brilliant break by Johnny May, but equally matched by Talea on the breakdown. I mean, this is good, getting the crowd off their feet. You thought maybe could he have just linked with Tom Curry before the tackle came in. But as soon as he's on the floor, the speed of Talea to get on the ball. Really, really good work by the winger.
Black one.
Actually, we talk a lot about the beautiful things that Rieko Ioane try that New Zealand do. We talk a lot about that, of course we do, because it's fun to watch. But how gritty have they been at the breakdown? How powerful have they been at close quarters? You've got your right winger, Mark Talea. That's outstanding breakdown work in the backfield. Brilliant stuff.
So a couple more changes. George Bauer is on in the front row. So he just wasn't ready to join the other two when they came on in the front row. So Bauer is on for De Groot as the line out goes wrong for New Zealand. I see David Ribbons is waiting to come on for England as well. And a good steal.
Use it, please.
As we head into the final quarter, is there any way back into things here? Kick just perhaps a little too long. Talea, time enough to take that down, and again, just stands up so well. Retallick the link through Beauden Barrett and Richie Mo'unga. Owen Farrell getting him down. Sam Whitelock took a fearful thump on his 143rd cap.
Use it, 9.
Aaron Smith told to use it. And again, Johnny May. That kick from Smith was just a little bit too long. Whitelock tries to get up there, but it comes back to Luke Cowan-Dickey. So is Will Stewart carrying it on, and Curry now out wide it goes. Bounces up nicely enough for Slade. Mako Vunipola. Little half gap starting to appear. Young's penalty advantage. They couldn't get that ball out. Marcus Smith then, so they'll come back for that penalty.
Top. Back here. Yeah, but Tough is not wrong.
Dalton Papali'i told off this time.
Tackler.
Freddie Stewart's done really well to reclaim his own kick. Just when you kind of think England are getting ahead of steam, I mean, Tom Curry doesn't need to throw the cut-out pass. England have numbers there, they can catch and pass. Henry Slade does really well to pick up that bouncing ball, but just getting a few too many of their breakdowns slowed up enough for New Zealand to get their defence set. They have got another opportunity, they've got to score here. If they've got any chance of coming back into this game, they need a try.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Super sub scrum half TJ Perenara is coming on for Aaron Smith.
Time is off, guys, time is off.
That's been said a few times before. Perenara, it made a huge difference when he came on at Murrayfield last week against Scotland in the last 20. He was outstanding. Had a long time out of the All Blacks 23, but staking his claim to be the man behind Aaron Smith now. So England through Toji and through them all. And Jamie George, the replacement hooker.
Use it now.
He's told to use it, so away he comes. And Farrell.
Tackle roll. Thank you. Ball available.
Is there any way through this All Blacks defence? Mako Vunipola now.
Push back.
In goes Ben Youngs. Flung wide, real chance for England, but cover starts to appear from the All Blacks defence. There is Jamie George again. Sets it back for Youngs and Curry. Out wide it goes, no, hanging onto it and driving through the middle. Farrell, the ball loose. Slipped on by Stewart, and then Marcus Smith.
Stop.
And there was a little knock-on, was there?
Knock-on.
So once again, the waves of England attack just break on the rocks of the All Blacks.
Yeah, there is a knock-on. Thank you,
Can't find any way through.
There's just a lot of confusion about which way to attack.
Sometimes maybe.
After the initial line-out carry, there was because of space on the right-hand side if they'd gone quickly, but because they were slow to see it, again, just gave New Zealand time to reorganise their defence, to get aligned, and to eventually snuff out the attack.
But that's kind of fun to you too.
Ribbons is finally on for Johnny Hill. Yeah, I wouldn't say it looks comfortable in defence, because that's not comfortable work, but you feel that England could be attacking for quite a while, and they're, as you say, running out of ideas or any way to find their way through here.
It's just the lack of real flowing cohesion. I think that's it. You know, when they get up ahead of steam, they tend to lose it, especially in this area of the pitch where you think, right, let's go and score. There needs to be almost like a building momentum through your attack, whereby, right, we're going to score, it's just a matter of when, not if. But England, again, a bit clunky. We go left, we go right. There's just not that natural flow at the minute to what they're trying to do. We see TJ Perenara.
Okay, on the bind, please. Yeah.
Oh, wait, just a collapse scrum, and you've got everyone shouting, yes, Stewie, Will Stewart, and England. Yes, Stewie, whether they know what they're talking about or not. Everyone just fell over, I can tell you that. TJ Perenara knows as well as I do. He's laughing his head off at everyone, congratulating each other. He says, you don't know, I don't know, and you don't know.
80th cap today, 58 now from the bench for TJ Perenara. Finisher. Yeah. It's a thing. Rather weak cries of Swinglow's chariot around Twickenham. Desperate for the home side to find something here, but Moonga with a lovely sidestep. And the clearance, and that's how you exit.
The scrum was perfection. It was absolutely beautiful,
Time
rock
off.
steady.
Stops.
Equally, it gave England a decent launch into Mwanga, but he doesn't mind. Really impressed, again, as usual, by Richie Mwanga today. Not everything's been perfect. He's taken a few risks, put a bit of ball down. It hasn't been immaculate.
Stop him.
He's a rough, tough boy. And he's keen to try things, keen to have some fun.
So Jack Willis
Guys.
coming on, who is he's joining Toulouse after the
Wait.
autumn internationals. He's on for Sam Simmons. And Jack Willis is such a wonderful player in the back row, but oh, here Johnny May now finds support from Curry, and England once again up to within 10 metres or so. Now, if not now, then when they have to score. Itoji just shovels it on to Billy Vunipola. Advantage to England. Penalty advantage. Willis straight into things. But they have to score, England. Time against them to get back into this game. Curry still bustling on. In comes Youngs. And feeds on to Dave Ribbons. Still there, still playing advantage. Deep. Speculative kick from Marcus Smith. And Stewart can't quite get his hands on the ball, and they will come back for that penalty now.
No advantage.
That howl of frustration from Freddie Stewart, but well, that was a penalty given away in not quite a clear try-scoring position, but England really were threatening.
Really good stuff off the line out, playing nice and flat to the line with options inside and out. Just hope that Johnny May could have stayed facing forward, would have made the pass a bit easier to put Curry in, but this is England's moment now. You were saying it just then.
Time off.
Got to come away with a try.
There's another change being made just before this line out. Guy Porter is coming on.
All good.
Coming on for Jack Knoll. There we are, visits to the 22. England, as many as New Zealand, points per visit.
Come back on.
A poor return. Time spent in the opposition 22. More for England. Itoji. Wow, penalty to the All Blacks, and
Stop. I will explain it. Go on.
And Mathieu Reynal's whistle was loud, and this is the reason Itoji up.
I just want
it's the right
to
call.
explain it. You throw the jumper across, okay, a reason run after somebody, but you cannot throw the jumper across. Okay, that's an infringement.
That's clear enough. Cannot throw the jumper across.
Throw the jumper across.
Itoji was hurled forward.
It's a really good call. It sometimes is an accident, it's sometimes a little bit on purpose. You've got to lift your jumper roughly straight up. Watch it. They carry him across the line. They carry him across the line and land him on the shoulders. New Zealand have not manufactured that. England have manufactured that. Correct call.
And again, moving into territory of architects of their own demise, because they've had so many chances, England. And here is Talkeaho, a familiar sight.
Side entry wide.
And side entry from England. So it's penalty upon penalty.
Wide, side entry.
And it's just an easy kick upon kick up the touchline.
Will Stewart down on this near side, isn't it? Just easy out for the All Blacks. Easy yards. Gifted him 30, gift him another 20-odd now.
That's deja vu as well, isn't it? New Zealand survive 5 metres from their line. They get the line out, they drive, eke out another penalty, and all of a sudden they're back up the other end of the pitch.
What a kick, by the way. Eddie Jones won't like that. It's a brilliant kick from
No side
Mwanga.
entry, please.
Ian Foster and the very familiar figure of Joe Schmidt, and so many making a deal of how much of a difference he's made since coming in the summer as a full-time assistant to Foster. And once more to Samasoni Talkeaho, and once more this maul, so effective. So in comes Perinara. Jordi Barrett, ouch, into Willis.
Ball is there.
And again, almost a hush around Twickenham, as the All Blacks do their All Black things. Retallick taking it in, and Perinara gives it on. And Jordi Barrett slips it away to Dalton Papali'i into George and Billy Vunipola. Advantage to the All Blacks again. Penalty one more time conceded by England. So back for a drop goal attempt. And it is good. They don't need the kick at goal from the tee because from hand the drop is good. And New Zealand, as we enter the final 10 minutes, just moving away over the horizon.
These carries, these mauls are powerful and aggressive. There's a lot of energy. It's a clear penalty for Vunipola lying in the way. Whether he intends to be there, whether it's, I don't think it's cynical at all. You just got to imagine in the heat of the moment, what is the referee looking at? It's an easy pen to award, but all of these physical efforts are taken out of England, aren't they, Tops?
Yeah, the energy sapping from not scoring to then conceding, like, it is so tough walking back towards your post time and time again.
But England from the restart get that ball. Marcus Smith now is through. Smith then with a step, going himself to the line, just short. Once more, just short England. Advantage to England. Penalty coming.
Which number is it on the ground?
And the referee asking which number it was. Committing the infringement there over the line is this time. Well, they celebrate the try.
Okay, 15.
Was it held up? I mean, there's a penalty waiting for England here.
Might be a yellow card as well, I think, for the Geordie Barrett not released on the floor, if it was him.
Check that. Time off. First.
Yep, yellow card.
First of all, we will check after if there is a try, yes or no. But first, not clear release, close to the in-goal line on a light break. So first, you go.
That's Bowden Barrett who's off.
We will check that try now. It's a penalty kick. We will check that, thank you.
So Owen Farrell coming in saying, was it not a penalty try then, is his question, but they're just going to check whether
thank you, Captain. Give
there was
space,
enough
please.
cover.
So, I don't perceive the grounding. No, we don't have any grounding, so Brian, we just want to check what's happened. There is a clear infringement close to the in-goal line. So I give a yellow card to the 15, but after they arrive in the in-goal, so can we check a potential grounding, please?
Okay, we'll check for potential grounding. Stand by, please.
Well, we're going to have a look at this one for whether there was a grounding here. Finally on the line. Plenty of hands initially underneath it, the arms, but that looks as if it's a little bit of whitewash. Oh, Will Stewart hoping there just to get it down. Would be his first try for England if he has it.
Yeah, Brian.
Yes, Matthew.
Yeah, sorry. Can we have all the picture, please? From the infringement of the All Blacks until the grounding, please.
I mean, that's
so where do you want to start here?
We want to start on the
point.
previous rock on the infringement, where I give a yellow card against the 15 black, please.
Okay.
I just want to check if there is a potential penalty try here.
Okay, we'll go from the very
go
start.
From the very start.
Brian McNeice, the TMO.
Well, this is in answer to Owen Farrell's question. Beautiful for Marcus Smith, by the way. What a break. But it's whether the illegal action here prevented a try.
No, there was a lot of cover coming back for the All Blacks, but no,
so
Matthew Reynolds saying it's not a penalty try.
There is blacks in position, and there is no white player for playing the ball. So come back on the grounding, please, now.
Yeah.
So
we'll come back to the
ignore that as a penalty try. It's all about whether Will Stewart gets it down there.
Okay, Matthew. So we have the ball here over the line. It's up at the moment. It's still up. Okay. It's still up at this stage. It's still up. The ball now touches the ground.
Yeah, and he's on the line, right?
Well, that's the question.
I just need to confirm if it's actually still touching the goal line.
This is the angle.
Stand by. It's still up here. Still up here. Still up here. So it's now on the ground and is on the goal line.
Yeah, they're going to give it a try, I think.
Sorry?
Just
Yeah, I'm happy
run
because
through
it's a slow motion.
one more frame, please.
Yeah. I'm happy with that, Damon, because it's a slow motion. So ball is on the line and the end.
Yes.
So I will award a try.
Yes.
Happy with that?
Yes.
You happy balls on the line?
Yeah, happy. Ball is on the line, you confirm.
So Will Stewart is going to start his try-scoring career for England.
I will award a try.
Twickenham is about to find out. There we are, something from this game, and actually 9 minutes to go. 14 points the difference before the conversion. Who knows? But Will Stewart, there we are, celebrates his first try for England.
And before we spent a quarter of an hour or so TMOing it, Will Stewart's try. Marcus Smith made a beautiful break, didn't he?
Really good response as well. It's like we've really been able to see him attack the line at pace with a bit of verve. Lovely little break. See, Bowden Barrett gives away the yellow card for not releasing. Scrappy, messy in the end, but the try stands.
So down to extra 2, man advantage as well. Not to be. So 2 converted tries in front New Zealand, but they are a man down, courtesy of this break from Marcus Smith.
I mean, the game had broken up a bit. Beautiful stuff. Nice little goose step, little goosey there. I was watching it. I'm not entirely sure Barrett does wrong, actually. I keep trying to work it out. But if you think about when Owen Farrell put Johnny May through the middle and Johnny May couldn't quite stay facing forward, when they're steaming onto that line at real pace, they look so much more threatening.
So Billy Vunipola running onto it, other changes being made. You notice that Shannon Frizzell some time ago came on for Scott Barrett, which we didn't tell you about, in the back row for the All Blacks. Mako Vunipola doing very good work. And Smith Stewart, that's power as he makes his way forward. And Hoskins Sototu is on as well for the All Blacks. There's a bit of space appearing out wide for England. Johnny May has to put the brakes on in the face of Talea, and then just so nearly finds that space again. Remember, there is that man advantage for England. Ribbons now, lovely offload by Ribbons. Out wide it goes. Is it given too early, perhaps? Stewart now again using that power over Mo'unga. So England, can they find that second try to really put this game in the balance? Stewart is over! Score for England! Freddie Stewart has it! And Twickenham is alive again!
Incredible stuff by England. Could see the benefit of having 3 ball players. The combinations of Farrell, Smith and Slade all coming to light, all interchanging as first receiver. And of course they're chasing the game now, so they're really pushing the envelope, but everything's sticking. The timing of the pass, the handling. Lovely there by Ribbons out the back door. But the ending as well, the ability of Ben Youngs to spot the overlap was on the blind side. Come back to Freddie Stewart, it's a 2v1. Is there time?
Well, there is time, and they do have that man advantage. Another few minutes, we'll get the time on that sin binning for you shortly, but it's an oh so important conversion. He's got it, you know. Marcus Smith sends it through and brings England within a converted try. Just over 5 minutes to go.
It's a grandstand finish, brilliant recognition from Ben Youngs and all brilliant communication from somebody to Ben Youngs. Really smart finish. Freddie Stewart straight back on his feet from the face before, with Dave Ribbons through the middle, off the bench at second row. It's a really good break, steaming through the middle. That one-handed, right-handed pass out the side there was a thing of wonder. What a bit of skill.
Well, this game for England was dead and gone 10 minutes ago. Now they have real hope. Bowden Barrett still off in the sin bin, so there should be space in the backfield, and Mako Vunipola, who's been a real force since he came on. So too Ben Youngs meets Sam Whitelock, and England have the penalty. And Marcus Smith thinks perhaps just for a moment, or perhaps it was all just a a bit of a con, because England are sensible enough to know kick for touch, get the field position, and listen to the crowd at Twickenham.
Oh, definite con. Use Henry Slay's left foot. Try and get as much distance as you can. Delve into the playbook, launch your best play, but just keep momentum in the game. If they keep that ruck speed where it is, probably looking at sub 3 seconds run, they have a chance of another try.
Well, the All Blacks, I'm told, have never lost a 14-point half-time lead. That is still some way beyond England here, but they do have all the momentum in the world with them. 4 minutes remaining, 7 points the difference, and Smith again seems to be growing in confidence as well. And Young's just a little chip over the top, nobody chasing it down, only black shirts, Jordy Barrett. They can put the pressure in on Barrett though, and the ball pings loose. And suddenly it's down to George Bauer to carry, but the All Blacks have the penalty and the deflation inside Twickenham.
He's looked really sharp since he's come on, Ben Youngs, but that's a poor call. The kick might work if you got 1 or 2 lads steaming after it who know something no one else does. There was no one else there. It's a turnover.
And again, the All Blacks just take a breather, go back to their basics and clear. They'll have the line out, still not too far from their own 22, but again, when you have all that life in the crowd and everything going with you, and it's just a little bit of a misstep from Ben Youngs. 3 minutes and
16. Hurry up, please.
Bowden Barrett still in the bin. So Taukeaho to try and hit his target. Retallick, safe pair of hands. So the clock would have to go some way into the red before Barrett came back on. Cries of turnover from England. Still there for TJ Perinara. Jordy Barrett calling for it. And the All Blacks suggesting that one was around the head.
Stay back.
Again, they're just going into conservative play mode here. Little pods of forwards to carry. Shannon Frizzell, the Highlanders back row, doing his bit.
Use it now.
2 minutes from the finish line of this game of the Autumn Series, New Zealand. Opportunity then for England. So Totu just got enough on Johnny May. It's Billy Vunipola and Marcus Smith gets that pass away. Options out wide for England. Stewart gives it on to Slade. Slade has support out wide from Guy Porter. England keeping that ball alive. 1.5 minutes remaining. Crashing forward is Ribbons. Up to within 3 meters of this line. Still there for them. Mako Vunipola now driving on. New Zealand think they've turned this over. Savea going in there, but still for Young. Stewart again! And he's got there! Well, we will have a look. And has he done it again?
There's Will Stewart, the 2-ton, 2-try hero. He's not sure.
Just on his face there.
Brian.
Yes, Matthew.
So ball go over the line. I think it's a grounding. I just want to check it, please.
Okay. Well, Matthew Reynolds thinks it is a grounding.
Decision is a try, is it?
Yeah, and we have an offside where we check a potential try. If not, there is an offside by Black.
Offside penalty for England if it's not a try. What drama here at Twickenham. Will Stewart, 23 caps, no tries. Suddenly does he have 2? He does, you know. He does.
Yes, Matthew, the ball
and
has been
England will have
grounded.
a conversion here to tie things up. Try is given. Will Stewart, try-scoring machine. And again, listen to Twickenham. What a game here. What final moments. Conversion in front of the post to come to tie it up.
Incredible finish to this game, and we were talking a few moments ago about a weird kick from Ben Youngs, an equally weird kick from TJ Perinara. A little box kick, no chase, you're just giving the ball back to England and they say, right, let's play. That from Tom Curry as well is incredible, just to stop to know that he has to link with the outside players, really, really good stuff.
Well, 25 years ago, there was a draw between these two sides. Marcus Smith ties it up at Twickenham with seconds remaining.
Will Stewart's come on and changed the game. He's changed the game from about 2/3 of a metre out, but who cares?
What a moment, though, here. What a restart. A man down injured for the All Blacks, TJ Perenara, is suffering. The clock is red. You know, that draw in 1997 was 26-all. That was the game at Twickenham, not Old Trafford. Perenara's going to have to hobble off.
He looks in a lot of pain, poor bloke. So much fight from England. They look so good when they've had a bit of space and they've steamed onto that ball. They've moved it wide and they've whacked onto it with pace. New Zealand have really struggled to hold them.
Well, both sides have committed a number of sins in this game, so many penalties, and who might commit a sin here? It's got to be clean play. It's got to be taken well at the restart. No, says Mathieu Reynal, nothing doing there, as Jordy Barrett claimed he was impeded. Will England just kick it out? They will, I think. Honours even at Twickenham. A few boos from the crowd who wanted the win. But listen, from where England were in this game, that is some comeback. That is the best ever comeback, again, we're told, by England from a half-time deficit. We talked about New Zealand never having given up a 14-point lead at the break. Well, they have done here. It's not victory for England, but it might feel like one. Again, honours even at Twickenham, but what a game, what a finish.
I think it probably won't feel like a victory, actually. It'll feel like a rescue job, and a rescue job full of fight and grit, and actually some good attacking, expansive rugby at the end. They really stretched the All Blacks to breaking point in that last quarter. But the reality is that England weren't taking their opportunity, didn't take the multiple opportunities they generated for themselves. Similar story against Argentina a couple of weeks ago. I think overall the result has saved England a horrible Monday morning and a horrible Sunday morning in the papers. Ultimately, they weren't good enough for an hour or so, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes in rugby you deliver, you perform, you execute. Sometimes you've got to fight and find a way not to lose. England did that, and that is every bit as important as being excellent, frankly. Being tough and gritty is every bit as vital.
And for New Zealand, right, they'll be feeling disappointed right now. They had control of that game for about 70 minutes. You know, the fast start was exceptional. Defensively as well, the amount of times they had to resist England in and around their 5-metre line, and they were able to relieve that pressure. Of course, at the back end, they had to really dig deep, and I guess, you know, we look at the scoreboard and they'll be happy to leave with a draw when it looked like England had all the momentum. But overall from New Zealand, if we think about all the talk earlier in the year about demise and about them struggling, to go 6 in a row plus this draw, so 7 unbeaten, to finish this tour as well unbeaten as well, they're all right. They'll be all right.
You look at the bench, you think Ben Youngs, yes, there was one kick that wasn't great. Perenara matched it a couple of minutes later and gave England the ball, which ultimately led to the try that led to the draw, didn't it? But I think the bench had a really good impact. Youngs looked sharp otherwise. Bako Vunipola off the bench, fantastic. Dave Ribbons, fantastic. Big impact from the finishers.
Yeah, I guess for them now it's just figuring out how they translate. I know the yellow card always helps, gives you impetus, but the last 10 minutes of their attack, moving the ball at pace, playing flat to the line with running options, offloading as well. How they get that into the opening 70 minutes, because we saw it actually last week against Japan as well. It was only late in the game that the attack really started to flow. So where was that earlier in the game, where it was more in the balance, where it was 15 aside? Because you can't always rely on a late flourish or yellow cards to get you into the game. So England have still got some work to do in that respect, but again, the resolve, the resilience to come back into the game and to eke out a draw, they will be very happy with that.